So I want to talk about something, and that's weight. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about weight, and they think that how much you weigh is a good indicator of how healthy you are or how much fat you have on your body, and it's really not, until you get to a certain point, like past, unless you're like 6 feet tall or more, past 250 pounds, you're kind of getting into that kind of point. But yeah, height is a big thing that does play into weight, because I don't and BMI is such bullshit, because the way they measure it is through height, gender, age, sometimes not even, and weight. Usually it's just height and weight, but sometimes the other two, gender and age will play. They'll have that incorporated. But it's kind of fucking bullshit, because that measurement has put, like, have you can get an Olympic swimmer in the height and weight thing, or Olympic athlete of any kind. I don't know why I said swimmer, but anyways, and then they'll be considered obese, even though they have barely any fat on their body, like it's less than 10%, and they're just like freaking muscular as hell. Because here's the deal: your muscle weighs more than your fat, and I know that sounds kind of what, because muscle is significantly denser than fat. A pound of muscle versus a pound of fat, like the pound of muscle is going to be like less than half the size on a pound of fat, because it's extremely dense. And that's another thing, is that density increases weight without increasing size. So if you have a high bone density, for example, that's going to affect your weight as well, because I don't know if you noticed, but your bones are like all through your body. Now the average person is, their skeleton makes up about 15% of their weight, but that's the average person, because the thing is too, that's pretty average, but the thing is that some people have denser bones than other people. And how does one get a denser bone? Well, first of all, different races have denser bones. For example, black people have on average tend to have denser bones than most other races, especially white people. And also other things that can increase your bone density are a lot of exercise, because the more your feet hit the ground, or you move or whatever, like that, all those vibrations constantly increase your bone density, as well as having excess weight, either from muscle or fat, increases your bone density, because your bones have to hold up all that extra weight. And so you could have been really fat at one point, and then you're really thin, and you're going to have the same sort of density of skeleton as a really fat person, because you were at one point, so it needed to hold up that weight at one point. And also another thing, interestingly enough, that it can increase bone density is owning a cat, because it has been shown that a cat's purring does increase bone density, and that's actually what they do for themselves, because I don't know if you've ever owned a cat, but they're incredibly lazy. So yet they have a higher bone density than most other animals, and scientists have found out that the purring, that vibration, actually increases bone density. So it can do the same for other animals and species. So if you have a cat purring on your lap at least once a day, that's gonna, make your bone density a little higher. And then some people are just, like I said, with the race, but even within, white people. Oh, sorry, Mitzi, did I move and wake you up? She's sleeping all curled up against my feet. It's really cute. Anyways, so, and, like, for example, I think I have a higher bone density than most white people, because despite being an incredibly clumsy child with very little, who was constantly doing extremely dangerous things growing up, I have never broken a bone. And dangerous things include, like, one time, near my house growing up, there was this really steep hill, and then it ended at a house, and then, so you had to turn, so kids would ride their bike down it, and if you just kept on going straight, you'd go right through the freaking, it was an apartment building, not a house, but anyway, so a great big brick wall. But you had to turn your bike at the last second, and you had to get both tires right through these two big rocks, and then you'd actually get a little bit of air, and then like land down and go back and whatever down the path. But I did that multiple times, no problem, but one time I hit the rock wrong, and I went fucking flying, and I got like freaking patches, my skin completely pretty much skinned off and everything else. And I went flying. I was wearing my helmet luckily, and I went tumbling down and everything else. So that should have broken a bone, but didn't. I was one time launched off a horse because it slipped up in the mud, and the horse even landed on my leg, and I didn't break a bone. All I got was a sprained wrist from that incident. I have fallen out of trees. I have freaking like tumbled down, you know, things. I've done so much to break a bone, and I've never broken a bone. And I've freaking been knocked down the stairs because like multiple times and nothing. Anyways. So there's that, and now I'm overweight now, but I wasn't always this way. I was actually healthy weight until about 17 years old is when I started gaining the weight. But even then, I've gone through periods where I've lost a lot of weight. So I'm gonna post a picture of myself at this point when I was doing martial arts and stuff like that. So I was really losing weight and I was really muscular. So around that time, I had, oh my god, train of thought come back to me. Anyways, I was just for shits and giggles, I was like, I'm gonna check what my BMI is, and it said I was morbidly obese. And you can take a look at that picture, and I don't think you'll know, and I think you'll agree with me, but I'm not morbidly obese now, and I wasn't morbidly obese then, because, you know, I was doing martial arts, so I had a lot of muscle, and at that point, I was doing sit-ups every night, and I was working out I was doing a lot of strength training a lot too, and in addition to the martial arts, and so I was really muscular. And also another thing is just your skeletal frame can be larger than other people. Now I'm decently tall, I'm 5'8", so that adds to my weight because I'm taller, right? Because the taller you are, the more skeleton you're gonna, or more body you're gonna have. But also I have really broad shoulders, a really big head, and a really large ribcage, and I have man hands and feet. Women's gloves, they don't fit, like the freaking ends of the fingers go like here at best. And this purse, I can't wear women's gloves. I have to wear men's gloves, and even then I have issues because my fingers are so long. And I'm a size 10 in women's shoes, which is a bitch because so many shoe stores only go up to 9, and for some reason pay less. The size 10 section is like half the size of every other shoe size section, which is fucking bullshit. Anyways, and also because when I was thinner as a teenager, like I had a flat stomach and everything else, and I was a B cup, so my boobs weren't big either, and I would wear size medium and even sometimes large tops. And I remember one time I was shopping with my friend, and they're like, oh Kate, no, it was Kat at the time, sorry, oh Kat, this is such a cute t-shirt, here, try it on. I'm like, oh, that's a small, I need a medium. And she's like, Kat, no, you're not fat. And I'm like, I don't think I am, it won't fit. And she didn't believe me until I tried it on, and it was like, because my shoulders are like man shoulders. Most women's clothes, the shoulders are like here on me instead of where it belongs here. And my ribcage is just fucking huge too, because like I had a flat stomach, right? But like shit wouldn't fit there because my ribcage was just so big. And I mean, my stepsister and I, when we were teenagers, I was thin and she was fat. Now it's the other way around, but anyways. But her shoulders were like, compared to mine, they were like here. They were so small, and she's got just a tiny little frame, and she didn't believe me when I said I weighed more than her. So, the point of all of this is, your weight doesn't mean shit. And your BMI, you can't measure that properly because they don't incorporate things like muscularity and height and bone density and frame, and like my head is, for example, I mentioned that, but I can't wear hats most of the time because most hats, they're too small because my head's so big apparently. But yeah, so much shit incorporated into your weight. So don't feel bad if your weight is high but you're not fat. Thanks for watching.